Hey there, Drawyah here, and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today, flying the Airbus A320neo, and in Air New Zealand colours on the flights from Auckland International to Wellington International, both in New Zealand. So, domestic New Zealand flight today, and taking charge of Air New Zealand 691. And hopefully, if all goes to plan, we're also going to be introducing another add-on to the mix, and that shall be PAX. So, if you know what PAX is, it's a passenger simulation for Microsoft Flight Simulator, X11 and P3D. And so, yeah, it should be quite an interesting one, that. And also, well, the sunrise this morning should be rather special. So, it's going to be a good flight, this. I, for one, am very excited to see where this will be going. So, wait for the fuel truck now to connect. We'll start filling up the aircraft and we'll start preparing everything for our flights today. So, well, that's popped up now, so we'll do this first. We need 11,725 pounds of fuel. So we'll fill up the aircraft, see how that goes. 11,265, so we need 25%. That should do us nicely. We'll take 26. Yeah, we'll take 26, just like a bit of excess. Leave it at that. Fuel truck will do its thing. Head to cockpit and start preparing the ground. So, batteries on. Let's now clear the master warning. Turn on the external power. Turn on the fuel pumps. And while we're at it, let's let up PAX. Let's get the passengers on board, shall we? So, I'll explain what this is as we go through it. But basically, it's an add-on by TFDI Design. And what it does is it allows you to simulate passengers inside your aircraft, as well as simulate the passengers who are talking to you on board. So, let's start programming our flights, starting off with our departure at... Whoops, that's gone. Departure of November Zulu Alpha Alpha to November Zulu Whiskey November. Flight number is NZ691. Cruising altitude, thank you for the £10, Jamie. Thank you very much. Let's start stream off well. Can you drink from a bottle of... Oh, gosh. What do you mean? This bottle of water? I don't get why you guys seem to love that so much, but hey, it is what it is. Right, cruising altitude today is flight level 2320. Flight time is only about 35 minutes once we're in the air, but it's 1 hour and 5 minutes scheduled. And time to take off, I expect this to be departing at around 1/4 past, so we'll say 0 hours and 13 minutes. Aircraft flying an Airbus A320neo, which I don't think actually comes as part of the aircraft list on PAX, and therefore we'll just select it as an Airbus A320. Okay, it just says A320, so we'll select that then. 126 passengers aboard, that sounds alright. Go to next. Air New Zealand does not have Wi-Fi, I don't believe. No, they have IFE. We don't have boarding music, but we do have a safety briefing. So we've downloaded that, ready to go. We do have snacks and drinks. I don't think there's a meal service on domestic Air New Zealand flights, especially when it's only about half an hour in length, so we'll accept that. And also, let me start up FE2IPC, since, well, we're going to need that to run in the background. Let's give that a go, shall we, again? What have I done wrong? Load flight plan, open installation folder. Let's, yeah, perhaps I should have read through, FE2IPC first, but, hey. It's called PAX. PAX by TFDI Design. Okay, do it again. Oh, gosh. Give me a moment. Let me just get the flight plan sorted first. See what I've done wrong with, PAX. Load flight plan, load data, that's... Help. Let's see what help can do for me. That's registered, it's a testing of accounts. Go to about, that's fine. Let me restart PAX and see if I can try and just kickstart this thing to work again. So, close PAX. Let's then reopen it. And same as before, let me just quickly plug in all the information. If anyone knows how to do this, if I've done something wrong, then let's see. NZAA to NZWN. Flight number is November Zulu 6901. Cruising altitude of 32,000. Flight time is 1 hour and 5 minutes. Time to take off is 0, say 15 minutes just for the sake of 15 minutes. We're an A320. Next. No. Yes. No, no. Oops. Ah, there we go. That's done it. So now I have passengers boarding the aircraft, and now we should be running without too many problems. Do I have stutters? Well, this is my first time running with FSUI PC, and so presumably it'll be a slow start, but in a couple of moments things should start to smoothen out a little bit. Looking a little bit slow at the moment. That's something I'll be playing around with later. I'll jump back to the cockpit and let's start programming our routes. So down to the FMS. And let's start setting this aircraft up. If it does prove to be too laggy, then we can just kill it and we'll fly without. So, initialization, let's program our flight plan. November Zulu Alpha Alpha. To November Zulu Whiskey November. So flying from Auckland to Wellington today. No company route, we'll plug it on manually. Cost next stay is at 5. Now cruising altitude is 32,000. Flight level 320. At this rate, we won't be cruising for very long, but that's our flights. Oh gosh. Don't bankrupt yourself, Jamie. I thank you very much for the support, but don't bankrupt yourself, man, that's for sure. Alright, 50.2, and the centre of gravity right now is 21.3 degrees. Block fuel on board is now 5.5, so we'll go 5.6. I'm hoping that it's not PAX causing the lagging, but unfortunately, I think it may be. These could be FSUI PC. Yeah, FSUI PC is a bit heavy at the moment. The joys of trying out new software, right? Let's try running it again. Let's see if I can try and see if there's anything I can do to slow down its CPU rates. Options, miscellaneous. We had a similar issue with with IVAO on Friday, which caused it to be a bit of a stuttery departure out of Dusseldorf. So presumably it's going to be one of those again where I just need to kind of muck around with settings at some point, try and figure out what's causing the main bit of slowdown. But as soon as I do, things should then start to run a bit smoother. So if you set your priority to high, OBS will leave it as standard. FSUI PC supposedly is not doing anything at the moment, which I know is a big fat lie. I'll continue as is, see what happens. So that's now programmed. Head to the flight plan and let's program our routes. First waypoint today is going to be Capai. Following Capai, we fly to Carl. And then it's to Daddock. Thank you, Sir Romney for fiver. Can you attach the SimBrief doc into the description? Sure, okay, at some point I can do. So I can attach the SimBrief documents to the description and then you guys can follow what I'm doing. In fact, there's probably a way I can do that now quickly. If I go to SimBrief flight briefing, let's have a look. Here we go. Give that a look. Does that work for you? That's my flight plan on SimBrief today. So if you want to follow along, you can use that to take a look. After car, we fly to deadlock. Following lick 2. And then it's idlock. How so good? It's one of those things where the more you practice, the better things get for you. And so, as I always say, practice, 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 you'll always get better. JFK to LX, something I can do. Thank you, Hope, for the 279 Canadian. Glad you're enjoying the streams. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. How do you generate it? I've done a tutorial on SimBrief, and so if you want to learn how to use it, it's definitely worth a watch. But yeah, it's not a difficult process, SimBrief. You just have to plug in your departure, plug in your arrival, and to be fair, that's all you need. The other stuff I filled in was just like extra, but all you need is the departure airport and the arrival airports, and it will then do the rest. I'm a little concerned about FSUIPs right now. I mean, it's a good tool. I've used it for plenty of FS versions, but right now it seems to be slowing the simulator down a little bit too much for me. That it may cause a few stutters from this flight. If I need to kill it, like I say, I will kill it. But for now, we'll give it a go and see what happens. After idlock, we fly to Ombub. After Ombub, it's then Dagom. And finally, one more waypoint, we fly to Dogad. So, final waypoint, insert that, and quick check of the... Oh yeah, that frame rate really is slow today. Okay, tell you what, we won't use packs today. Slightly annoying that. Again, same as IVAO, there's something that it's doing in the back end, which I'm not sure what exactly it's doing, and as a result, it has caused a bit of a slowdown. Pitch quality is not good, yeah. FCIPC 7, so it's the new version, the beta that's just come out. And for some reason, it is really slowing down the simulator quite badly. Thank you for the €5, Glooby, much appreciated. I'm glad the tutorials have helped you. I mean, I built them to teach people, and so, yeah, it's one of those things that I'm glad it has helped. And if it has helped you, then, yeah, much appreciated, and thanks for letting me know. Yeah, so, no packs today, and no IVAO. Only reason why, because they both seem to lag me at the moment. I'm not quite sure what causes the lagging, but there's something that it does which causes a slowdown. Right, so FMS setup, we're on my departure, which is going to be runway 23 left via the... perhaps it would have been good if I actually wrote the SID and star down. Is it the Belrit? Hold on, Drawyah. You've actually gone and forgotten to write down the most vital bit of information. So, nope, it's not you. It's not you. It might be you. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so our SID will be via the Leng 1 Alpha departure. So insert that. Place Lengu, Capi, Carl. That makes sense. Right. So departure's now set. Let's program our altitude. PAX, yeah. So unfortunately, because we don't have FSUIPC running, PAX will also no longer run, and so sadly, our passengers will no longer be on the flights. I'll figure it out. It'll take a bit of time, but tonight I'll spend a couple of hours just figuring it out, and hopefully by the week we'll run it all out. How do I figure out a SID if it was in the SimBrief document? So basically, that's very yes. So with the SID, if you go to plan mode and plug it in, it shows like a preview of what you're going to fly. And so in this case I just went through each of the SIDs, checked the preview, and found one that I liked. And so you should be using SimBrief, we should be using ATC to give you the SID, but as I say, that's one of the cases where it's trial and error, and eventually you'll figure out what you need to use. It's not recommended, but trial and error always works eventually. Right, NZAA Meta, let's have a look at the weather here in Auckland right now. QNH 1002. And cruise at 32,000 feet. Let's turn on the strobes automatic, turn on the navigation logo to on. Flight director comes on. I'll clear that for now. And in a couple of moments, we should then be ready to start pushing back and taxiing to the runway. It's a nice simple aircraft at the A320, and therefore it doesn't take too long to start from the ground up. So I'm happy with the overhead panel. Nothing sticks out to me as wrong, so I'll turn on the APU now. Look to the FMS. Flight plan set. We've set our departure. We've got our routing, which I'm happy with. That looks good. And then finally, engines won't touch until we well, start pushing back and start setting the engines on. So we need to push back to the left. Over there will be our runway. There we go. Sun's now slowly rising over the capital of New Zealand. It's going to be a very, very pretty flight, this. Especially as the sun slowly rises over the horizon. I'm very excited for it. And I hope you guys are too as well. Which aircraft have neighbouring to marketplace? 737. I'm definitely waiting for the PMDG to release. Flight time. Flight time is 1 hour and 5 minutes. How long have you been playing Flight Sim? So my first Flight Simulator I played back in 2005, and as Microsoft Flight Sim 2004. So I've been using Flight Sims for about 15 years now. First successful end state, partially sure. I'm glad that helped, Martin. I'm glad that helps. I'm glad that the tutorials have helped a lot of people as well. No, I don't particularly use FS Economy. I'm quite happy with PAX. It's just a case of trying to figure out how it all works. The ATC is kind of good too. Why not use it? Whenever it comes to ATC, I much prefer using my own voice and communicating with real people, and so IVAO allows for that, as does VATSIM, but yeah, I just prefer doing it with my own voice rather than just pressing number keys on the keyboard. It's just my own personal preference. Right, so Shift P1 and 2. Does that work? Because I've tried Shift P1 and 2, but it doesn't seem to do anything. It just pushes you back in a straight line. So, yes. How to hide the UI? So if you go to the General, go to Camera, and scroll down, you can hide the UI in the external camera by using this option here, the heads-up display. So turn that off to hide the UI. Right, so we'll call the pushback tug, and we'll now start pushing the aircraft from the gate. So turn on the APU bleed. We'll turn off the external power. We'll make ourselves independent of the ground. Beacon lights come on to alert ground crews that we are ready for push and starts. And let us now start with the pushback. So Shift P, call the tug over. I've done a tutorial on how to get liveries, and so do check out my video on that to see how I do it. How do I know something lands? General rule of thumb, 80 nautical miles. It takes to descend 30,000 feet at 2,000 feet per minute at 250 knots. And so I have done a landing tutorial which I've explained the process of landing, and so, again, well worth a watch if you are interested. Can you do an auto land? I don't so much trust the auto landing simulator, so not today. Right, pushback starts. Engine sets to start. Engine 1 starts. The aircraft now make its way back from gates. We'll request the aircraft to steer to the left, that way it pushes to the right. I overclock my GPU, my CPU is standard. Multiplayer co-pilot not yet, so shared cockpit is a feature that's coming, but as of yet unreleased, so do stay tuned for that, eventually it will come. Once it does arrive, I do plan to do a couple of shared cockpit flights, and so again, something to keep an eye out for on the channel as soon as it comes available. Right, parking brake finish, sorry, pushback finish, parking brake set. Yeah, it took about 45 minutes. It's not a very long flight this, but should be a good one, especially with the current weather and climate. P2 sounding. We'll now start up engine number 2. The file's called FS Base Package 001. Is this to do with FSUI PC, sorry, upper floor? If it is, then could you possibly get in touch with me on Discord, and if you can help me out, that'd be much appreciated. How to get the pushback tug? I use the ATC menu. Press pushback to the left, pushback to the right. Right. I don't mind too many question marks, Chrissy. It's just a case of spam that I don't mind. Well, I do mind, but question marks not so much. Right. Engine 2 is starting. And so flying with real-time, real weather today. Real-time, real weather. Both engines stable. We'll turn off the APU. We'll set the flaps down to first stage for takeoff. Engines running, ignition off. Spoilers. Sorry, speed brakes armed. They are spoilers. And, right, let's get taxi to the runway, and let's get ready to depart. Parking brake released. Increase throttle slightly. And there we go. Aircraft's now moving. Yeah, so live weather does accurately portray clouds, but winds aloft is as of yet unavailable, I'm afraid. Whoever's just posted that has gone and, well, messed up the live chat for me slightly, so I now can't see anything but dots. Give me seconds to scroll down for that. Yes, this channel is absolutely phenomenal. Cheers that, Lucas. Should do a flight from a smaller UK airport over to Turkey. Potentially could do that at some point. I've had a lot of requests for Liverpool, I've had a lot of requests for Manchester, so potentially at some point soon we'll fly from either of those airports. Yes, we will go to the end of the runway for takeoff, that is absolutely going to happen. Short runway here at Auckland, but while we do have a relatively powerful aircraft to take off on the short runway, we will use the full length. No worries, Darius, I'm glad that your has helped, and thank you, Amma, I'm glad that I'm your favourite channel, much appreciated. Have been to my house? Yes, I have. Is there an app that gives you ILS frequencies for all airports? I mean, for the most part, the aircraft in the sim, when you select a runway for landing, does automatically tune your frequencies, but there are a couple of websites out there that simulate, well, give you the list of frequencies. The problem is I'm not sure how complete it would be for Microsoft Flight Sim at this stage, given that a lot of these airports are AI generated and therefore the frequencies may not completely be accurate at this stage. So there are websites out there, but I'm not quite sure for Microsoft Flight Sim yet. Settings, I'm running stuff on high or ultra. The only things down to medium are waves, textures, and something else that causes minimal effects. Live in Wellington, nice one, Raf. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the chats. I've got Orbex London City, and I have uninstalled Orbex London Landmarks. I do hope they keep to their word and actually fix that add-on because, well, yeah, it's not the prettiest of add-ons to say the very, very least. But we'll leave it at that for Orbex London. PAX is available from TFDI Design. It's available on their website. Well, do be aware that I have turned it off for this flight because of lagging issues regarding FSUI PC. So as soon as FSUI PC I can figure out why it's lagging so much, I'll then reintroduce PAX for future flights. Hopefully tomorrow. I'll do a flight tomorrow in the A320. At some point I'll then do a flight in the 747, and also at some point during the week, perhaps Wednesday, I do plan to fly the Cessna or something a bit smaller, because I've done a lot of jet flights so far, and so I think it's about time to actually start looking at some of the smaller aircraft. Started doing something a little bit low and slow, so perhaps Wednesday we'll do a bit of GA flying. I'm running this on an NVIDIA GeTX 1660, which is running this rather fine. I'm looking to upgrade to one of the new 30 series cards from NVIDIA as soon as they come out, but it really comes down to the pricing. If it's expensive, then we'll see what the 20 series cards look like once that's released, and it's just a case of kind of figuring out what's out there for the pricing, what's worth it, what's perhaps not. So we'll see what the market says, but so far my PC upgrade fund is looking mighty fine at the moment, and it is you guys I do need to say a massive thank you to. Donations and monetization, all that stuff, will be going towards a new PC fund, and so yeah, hopefully soon we'll be able to start kicking things up a notch a bit. Yeah, Southampton does have photogrammetry, and so perhaps we could do Southampton, potentially even fly over it and head for the Isle of Wight, head to Sandown. Sandown would be quite nice actually. We'll see. We'll see. A setup tour. You would not want to see that. You would not want to see that. Unless you want a desk covered in books and underground maps and basically nothing particularly that fancy going on. Right. Throttle back. What do you set the throttle to achieve taxi speed? It really depends on the ground's terrain, the weights, and that kind of stuff. So throttle settings will change depending on your flights. Right, brakes set. I forget my brakes are not set on my joystick for some reason. I do need to go back and map that at some point. Right, visual check. No one's coming to approach. Nobody's on the runway or coming in from the other side. And therefore, yes, with my own flight for today, as I do plan to sleep quite early tonight and actually rest for the first time in about 3 weeks. So, just one flight today, not a very long one, and we'll bring that to an end for a week. Yes, live weather, live time. Live weather, live time. So we're flying Zulu Hotel, Zulu Kilo, November Hotel Alpha. That's our tail code for say the first A320neo that was delivered to Air New Zealand. Good evening, Kill Switch, how you doing? Plane looks great, thank you very much. This is on high settings or ultra. I've got a video on my settings out, and so if you go back to my channel and go back a few weeks, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm currently running at the moment. So could the live weather servers be down again? Give me 2 seconds. If live weather servers are down again, which it does drop every so often when they're doing it for maintenance, we'll then switch over to broken clouds and just add a... or broken or scattered. Tell you what. Okay, we'll leave it on scatters clouds, and we'll see how that goes for now. Right, we're on the runway, we've got takeoff clearance, I'm happy to go, so increase throttle up to 50%, check for stability on 1 and 2, and up to flex, now that both engines are stable. Something was on my yoke there, it's my stick, I'm not quite sure what it was though. Okay, sorry. Takeoff rejected. I've gone and forgot to set up my performance page. So what was that on my yoke that was preventing me from actually throttling up? 2 things went wrong there, and so we'll try that again as well. Forgot to set up my takeoff performance, and therefore my flex was not working. So go back to the taxiway, we'll taxi down to the end of the runway, and we'll try that a second time. Taxi lights, landing lights just off. Taxi lights back on again. We didn't get too far, so brakes are not hot at the moment. Let's see, I knew I was forgetting something, but obviously in that occasion, was able to spot it before it caused any problems. Right, take a right hand turn. Let's taxi down this taxiway here. Right, let's do it properly this time. So, performance. Flaps set settings 1. Flex temp is 67. That's what I should have done last time. Rotates at 142. So 124. Transition altitude is at 6,000. Right, now we should be able to take off properly. Yes, we hit 14,000 subs today, and so again a massive thank you to everyone that has subscribed to me recently. It has been truly phenomenal. Oh gosh, we'll drink some more water if you guys are interested. I don't know, I'll be honest, I mean, I don't understand ASMR, why people enjoy it so much. I mean, I can understand why people enjoy it. I mean, me personally, I like white noise. White noise, I find it quite relaxing, but I don't know, something about ASMR, just some of those sounds, for me personally, I think they are rather annoying, but some people enjoy them, so hey. Plane selection is lame. What do you mean by that meme? Is there something wrong with the 320? Not a fan of. Oh, right. No worries, Jamie. How long to flights? Flights is 30... Once we take off, it's around 35-40 minutes. Total flight time from gate to gate, 1 hour and 5 minutes. More plane add-ons are coming. And so a lot of that have been announced, and therefore now just in the final stage of testing, before eventually coming out for release. My FPS running at a solid 30 at the moment. Although if I turned off the limiter, I'd probably get around 45-50 at the moment, so... Sim runs rather well. The only reason I limit it is just for OBS purposes. Flight time, I get that off of both the Simbury flight plan, and also if you use the flight plan in the simulator, it also tells you the length of flights. Right, let's hold short of the runway. Let's check a second time now where the aeroplanes are. So, no one on approach, no one on the runway, nobody coming in to land on the other side. Brake sets to max for eject to takeoff, second time if we need it. Rearm the spoilers. Landing lights on. And, well, attempt number 2, shall we call it. Thank you for the $5. Asking for more aircraft selection. I mean, the aircraft section will come. It really is just a case now waiting for them to actually arrive, but they are coming, and they should be coming rather soon. I mean, Carinado have already released their Cessna 182, and therefore it's really just a case of just waiting for the last few now to arrive, or the next few to arrive. So 737 set to release early next year. I believe Milviz 732 also set for early next year. Concorde coming out from DC Designs, that's coming rather soon. There's a lot coming. Price of my PC cost me around $650 to build from years of building. So I've had this system as it currently is for around 4 or 5 years now. And so over time I've just been upgrading parts and building it up. So I've spent around $650 on it as it stands, but that's over about 5 years of building. Right, back on the runway. Let's try again. Throttle up 50%. 1 and 2 are stable. This time we have got a flex, and therefore I'm more than happy to proceed with takeoff. 80 knots. B1, rotate. Positive climb, gear up. Throttle back to climb, flaps up. We shall hand fly this first turn coming to the left. Very shortly, we'll switch over to autopilot. Currently flying with the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog. The Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog today. Head to throttle climb. The aircraft's not really doing much in terms of actually climbing, interestingly enough. Okay, plan B. Manual speed it is. So 250 knots below 10,000. Because I do need to remember VNAV and LNAV. Well, LNAV works fine, but VNAV is a little bit of a pain in the sim right now. So we'll do it like that. We'll turn on the autopilot. We'll turn on heading hold and climb. We'll set to about 3,500 feet per minute. So now the aircraft holds 250. That'll fly like normal. That's fine. Passing through flight level, well, 2,000 feet. Flaps are up, and in just a second, we'll start a left-hand turn. Right, off we go. Do I prefer the Airbus or Boeing in this game? I mean, my favourite aircraft's the 747. I mean, it's a pig to fly, but I enjoy flying it. The only downside is that the routes I need to fly on it are relatively long haul, so the actual time I can fly it can be quite limiting at times. Go showcase camera, and let's have a look at the passenger views. It's got right hand window and left hand window. I think the right hand window is looking a little more spectacular today. This is not live weather. The live weather feature right now is down for maintenance and therefore cannot use it. Flying with higher settings today. Always using high settings. How you get the end using colours. So yesterday I published a tutorial on how to add liveries, so do get that a watch. But basically, there's a Mega Drive folder out there, which lets you... not Mega Drive. There's a drive folder out there full of liveries, and you drag that into your custom folder within the simulator. Yes, there's a new livery pack out. I haven't downloaded it yet. I'm going to probably do that tonight. I also need to update the link in that video. But yes, a new pack has come out, and I do still need to download it. Right, left-hand turn. Oh, I'm just loving that orange glow coming on the cockpit window, the cabin window there. It's also on the wing. It's going to be a very screenshot-friendly flight, that's for sure. Still getting used to the drone cam there, the focus functionality, but I am pleased with the sim. It looks beautiful, it feels alright. I mean, flight dynamics aren't perfect, but hey, for they are, they do a decent job. Right, so 32,000, 3,000 feet per minute, past 10,000, so landing lights we can retract. Airspeed, we can cruise at around Mach points. Well, we won't go to Mach 0.8 yet, but we'll go for Mach 0.65. Nope, I'm not a pilot by profession, I'm a marketer by profession. Flying's just a hobby for me. And so I've done a fair bit of research around all of that. Get the sun shining through the windows. Yeah, this is Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is what the platform is, and this is where the platform's going. In fact, let me grab a screenshot of that. Beautiful, it really is. Yes, there is the moon. The sim does have the moon. Alright, so now coming above the cloud layer. How long left? I've already said. Flight time 40 minutes. We've just departed, so 40 minutes. If I zoom out on the ND, you see the airport is about 240 miles ahead of us, and so around 120 or so of descent, and we'll start turning the airplane down. Yeah, so the graphics and the liveries are made by third-party people. These are not official liveries, they're third-party, so depending on, I guess, the skill of the texture creator, some are better than others, but for the most part, hey, it's the first set of freeware liveries to these aircraft, and so as they mature, as more liveries become available, expect things to start improving quality of that. They're not bad. They're not bad. Again, if you want a screenshot of this, then be my guest, because it is just beautiful. This is off the Microsoft Store. This is off the Microsoft Store. ETA, landing in around 30 minutes. 25, 30 minutes. Got a copy with Game Pass. I received my copy from Microsoft Premium Deluxe, and so that came with part of the beta preview. And back when I could showcase the game a couple of weeks early, and again, a massive thank you to Microsoft for that opportunity. I mean, well, my channel has now... I mean, it's bigger than quadruple. What's the word for 5? So you have double, triple, quadruple. Is it pentuple? My channel's pentupled in size. Because before Microsoft Flight Sim, I was at 3.4K. Pardon me, 3.4K. Now, I'm at, well, rushing up for 15K, so you guys have been truly phenomenal with the amount to watch you. Just look at this. Look at this. I'll take off the overlay so you can see it in its full glory. Just look at this. Quintuple, thank you very much. Visually, this simulator is beautiful. Ooh, in terms of tutorials, the A321 I think has been rather well received. The 747 one I've had a few minor issues with in terms of actually calculating the descent. And so I'm currently in the planning stage of redoing the 747 one. The 787 one I'm at a complete standstill with because of actual FMS issues with the aircraft and not actually following autopilot. So 747 I plan to do at some point soon. 787 I hope to do soon, but there's a few things I need to try and figure out with the aircraft, potentially see if there's an update for it soon. I do know that Asoba have announced that they are currently set to release a hotfix in the next couple of days. And so yes, the hotfix should see things start to improve a bit. Could you show us how to land properly? I mean, I've done a tutorial on how to land the A320, and so, well worth a watch. Everyone does say that it has been rather helpful. And so, yeah. Oh, right, so you say that you're not spamming user, or that there's no way for me to see your message. Whoops, going too fast there. But, the chat program I use... Whoops, what have I done? So if I go to desktop view, it automatically hides spam messages, so I see one copy of each message. If you was like spamming, I don't see the messages. So perhaps you are spamming. I don't know. I can't see all the messages. Well, I see all the messages, but it automatically blocks the spam for me, so I don't get to see it. So again, massive thank you to Chrissy, who's been doing a fab job at maintaining the chat for me since the streams have started. Yes, 80 is turned off. We're from the UK. I'm from London. No worries, James. I mean, I don't ask for donations. I never have, I never will. And so, anything people do donate, that's out of your own kindness. And all of it will go towards the new PC fund. Right, so we've sorted out our speeding now. So again, no VNav, manual Mac. In fact, let's slow the airplane down. We'll go Mach 0.78 for today's flights. Slightly slow cruise and therefore extend the flight time by about 2 or 3 minutes. But in this weather, let's go by 2 or 3 minutes. It's just so beautiful. I mean, Microsoft Flight Simulator is a streamer's dream. I mean, okay, flight dynamics are not perfect, so flying the thing is a little bit iffy at times. They're better than they used to be, that's for sure. But, I mean, yeah, flight dynamics not perfect, but as a streamer, you guys aren't flying. That's me. Visually, this is phenomenal. And so what you guys are seeing, so you guys get the perfect view of everything. And yeah, like I say, it is a streamer's dream where you may not feel how it flies, but you definitely get to see all the effects that it gives you. And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun to fly, it's a lot of fun to be in, and just the environment as a whole, it truly is phenomenal. There you go, phenomenal. I keep saying that word. It's sort of my catchphrase at this point. It truly is phenomenal. Thank you for the $5, Roberts. Here comes UPC, absolutely. So like I say, I'm currently waiting now for NVIDIA to announce the 30 series card prices. And then if they're cheap enough, I'll go for one of the 30 series cards. If they're expensive, I do anticipate a price drop on the 20s, and then for the 20s, maybe a little bit more appealing. But yeah, certainly something to look out for in the future. Most realistic aircraft in the game, probably the King Air 350. The King Air 350 is very nice to fly, it feels good, and the Proline Fusion panels are very well simulated. That's full touchscreen controls from programming your flights to the end. Yeah, take off, spin the camera, look at pretty pictures and chat to people. Land, people love it. Definitely streamers stream content. I mean, I enjoy doing it. Streaming and flying for me has always just been a hobby. And so, well, I've been using flight sims for 15 years. I've been streaming now for about 3 or 4 years. And, as I say, I've always treated this as, I'm the captain, you're the passengers. I'm doing all the hard work, you're just here for the show, and it creates a two-way conversation. There are a lot of streamers out there who will stream for hours on end, but never interact with chat at all. That's not me. You guys are the people who are watching this, you're guys who make this possible, and so I try to interact as much as possible. And so, I'm not perfect, but I do try my best. The aircraft does slant a little bit, that's a known bug with the autopilot, so we are working on a fix to hopefully get that sorted soon. Flying with autopilot for now, although we'll be doing a manual touchdown. While we're at it, let's set up our approach since we're not too far from the airport. So as it stands, we'll be landing via runway 16 at Wellington. And do we have a Dogad approach? Yes, we do. Ooh, we go. 3 Alpha, it's 4 Bravo we want. The Dogad 4 Bravo. No vires. Insert that. Our approach plan is now set. Thank you for the sponsor, David. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for that. thank you for the £5, Jamie. This is the last time now. Leaked 3000 series aren't that bad, from 400 to 1400. That's not too bad, actually. I mean, if I go for anything, it'll be around mid-range, so maybe 3070 or 3080. And so, I'm looking at around 500, 600 for the GPU. That way I can have a bit more money to spare for the CPU, bit of money to spare for the RAM, bit of spare for the power supply, bit of spare potentially for the cases as well. I plan to go big, and so I thank you guys also again just for being able to provide that. 3 weeks ago, I would never have been able to even imagine what could have happened. And so even now, I'm still just a bit lost for words of what to say. The car on the tail looks a bit crooked, yeah, so like I say, it's a first attempt at livery that someone's made, and while not perfect, it's better than flying just the default A320 for the entire flight, so it's not perfect, but it's a start. It's a show to kind of see what the future of Microsoft Flight Sim brings, especially now that third-party liveries are starting to become available. We're now 120 miles from the start of the approach, and therefore in about 5 minutes we'll start our descent. Put money on the 3080 around 700, 800 minimum, so I could go for the 3080, but 3070 are probably right in the range of what I'm looking at. The 3090 will be a monster, but it will be expensive. And so again, we'll see what the future brings. Right now we're around the North Island of New Zealand, and a couple of minutes away now from descents. Been around the channel since day 0 MSFS release. Great to learn from. Keep it up. Thank you very much, Martin. Much appreciated. Yeah, 3080, $1,500. 3080 Ti, yeah. There's everything's coming out all together. We'll keep an eye on the prices, because some are saying that these cards will be a little more affordable. Because, well, if we don't go for the 30 series cards, what are AMD currently on the market with? What are AMD about to release? Because, well, we could even go AMD, who knows? I like NVIDIA, but AMD have definitely done some fantastic cards recently. And so, it's all worth considering. Once you reuse I might reuse the power supply if it's powerful enough. The RAM is potentially going to go because it's 16 gigs, but it's at 2.3 gigahertz, and so that's quite low. My CPU, my i7-6700, it's now fairly old and also can't overclock it, and so therefore my CPU right now is probably my bottleneck, and so that would be the first thing to go. My 1660 I could probably push a little bit more with a better CPU, but if the 30 series are available, then why not jump for it? We'll see. I've got a lot of options available for me, and so I'll use them. Alright, let's start our descent, and let's bring the aircraft down to land. We need to be down at 3,000... Nope. 2630 for the intercepts. I'll set it down to 2,600. Descend at 200 feet per minute. And set our speed now to 250 knots. It's a very short flight, this. Very short flight indeed. How long most do you fly? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, Darius. Thank you for subscribing, much appreciated. I mean, my system's running a 4-core right now, so my system is 4 cores, 8 threads, and so I can give you an answer to that, I'm afraid, Nick. You're a 320 pilot, before you're a tube drive, now you're a pilot. Right, Scott Reason. I now know for a fact that you're not a tube driver, but in fact just some 11-year-old person on YouTube. Settings, currently running on high settings. FPS, solid 30 at the moment, limited for OBS. Liveries for 787. I'm not sure if they're out now, but I know that there are quite a few of them coming at the moment. Same as the 747. They are on their way. How much does my PC cost? So mine's been around about $650 over So £650, that's about $800 across 4 or 5 years. Your flight conditions buttons. Make sure your FMS is set up, but do be aware that VNav doesn't yet work, and so yeah. No, me, I'm 21. I'm 21 years old. This is the Microsoft Store version, so not Steam, not Game Pass, but direct from Microsoft Store. Best way to understand everything in start, I'd say start off small in the Cessna 152 or 172, learn the basics of flying, and then look out for some tutorials about how to fly your favourite jets. But start off small and eventually practice. Again, practice, practice, practice. All you need to do for a flight sim, and eventually you'll become good. I'm from England. I'm from London. At some point I will fly the Cessnas. Why not Steam? Because Microsoft gave me a copy via Microsoft Store, and therefore, well, I got the version from Microsoft Store. Flight time say 30-45 minutes. What do I get to PC? It's built. Built part from parts. In terms of descent, I want to say maybe a little bit higher right now, but 25,120 miles to go. I think we're actually spot on right now. So, even though I know my tutorial works, thank you, Ranger, for the £10. Thanks for your tutorials. No worries, man. I'm glad you're enjoying them. The A320 tutorials I'm now pretty much complete with. It's now the 747 and 787 that I now need to do. JFK T378, fair play, Lord Necton. Must have been a fairly long flight. Will I do a return flight? Do I do a return flight? It's a very short one, and so... What time is it now? It's coming up to 9 PM. Recording train sim tonight, it'll take me about an hour, ready for tomorrow. You guys decide, shall we do a return flight? Yes or no? Welcome to Simrace HQ, how you doing? Welcome back. That's 2 votes for yes. Why is Premium Deluxe cheaper than Deluxe in game? What are you looking at for cheaper Premium Deluxe? Okay, everyone's saying yes, and so because the flight's only about 30 minutes in length, I think we could easily put a second flight in, so yeah, sure. Okay, we'll land the aircraft, we'll do a turnaround, and then we'll fly back to Auckland. In terms of flight planning on SimBrief, okay, I'm going to cheat here. We'll fly the exact same route, but I'll plug the waypoints in reverse. Wellington to Queensland. Ooh. How long's that flight? How long is a flight to Queensland from Wellington? There's one airline that flies direct. It's Jetstar, Virgin Australia. Do Air New Zealand fly this route? And thrice. Let's have a look. It can't be further from Auckland to Wellington, because the fact is, Wellington to Auckland is the entire length of the North Island. Queensland will be taking us, or even Christchurch. Christchurch is an option. Let's have a look at Christchurch from Wellington. Air New Zealand's do operate it, and it's a 55-minute flight, so actually it's even shorter than this one. Okay, tell you what. We'll touch down at Wellington, we'll do a turnaround, we'll fly to... We'll fly to Christchurch. And hopefully I'll be able to plug in all of our routings and all that. We'll see how it goes. It could be a horrible flight because I had no time to actually plan it all. And so, we'll have a look. You've done Auckland and Christchurch, you can 1 hour and 40 minutes. We're flying in from Wellington, and so, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Matt, for the $4.99 New Zealand. No worries, I'm happy to be here in New Zealand. I do plan to do some more Nordic flights. I mean, one airport I very much want to fly to in a sim, an airport I've flown to in real life, is Lappeenranta in Finland, and so perhaps we could fly an old former Blue One flight, which was from Stockholm to Lappeenranta. We'll have a look. There are a few flights I want to do in the Nordic region, definitely, at some point soon. Best flight, enter flights in manually, or take it to the menu. I mean, I personally prefer using the flight plan. It's kind of the realistic way of doing it. But we'll see how things go. Can you delete one next waypoints in the air? I mean, not those on the star, I don't think. The star stays as it is. Actually, I could do. No. I can do, but I'm not going to. Copenhagen, Stockholm, Oslo. Potentially, those are quite short flights as well. How to set up sim brief. So I've done 2 sets of tutorials. I've done one on sim brief alone, and then a second tutorial which is dedicated to actually plugging it into the flight plan. Squawk code, it's an identifier code, and therefore squawk is used to determine an aircraft based on the ground. So different squawk codes have different meanings, or you can get given a squawk code that's assigned to you as a unique aircraft identifier once in the air. Now, my explanation is going to be off today because I'm not doing a pre-recorded video, and so I'm now trying my best to just remember everything from memory and spew out in chats. Gothenburg. Again, Gothenburg we could fly to, although I think PewDiePie's got that one covered when he flew from London to Gothenburg in 747. When PewDiePie did a flight sim stream, that was like, wow, okay, where are things going? Because NerdCube has always been associated with flight sims. His flight sim videos have always been fantastic, but now that PewDiePie got involved, it's like, okay, this is different. And unfortunately, you have people like M15 who don't particularly want to play nicely, and unfortunately those people go bye-bye. The approach over the water to Copenhagen to the left. Yes, the approach to Copenhagen is very nice over the water. In fact, that was my very last flight sim stream on X-Plane. So I did a 737 flight from London to Copenhagen and landed via 22 left. It was a Norwegian Airlines flight, that one. Do I have any advice? Because you won't let you in the game, don't know what to do. Try running compatibility. Run as administrator. If that doesn't work, then unfortunately, the only thing I can recommend is write a support ticket to Asobo. I have purchased London City Landmarks, and, well, I've uninstalled London City Landmarks. Let's leave it at that. Asobo are the developers, Microsoft are the publishers. So if you want to talk to the developers, you'll need to contact Asobo Studios. You already set the approach up. Everything is yes, I don't want to support studio, but they're the developers of the flight sim. Flex. So flex temp is, I don't quite know the specifics about flex temp. But all I know is that the value of flex temp is used for the engine management, and therefore it derates the throttle. Thank you for the follower, Saps Bob. Am I saying that right? Well, thank you very much, man. Much appreciated. Support's always loved. Flex, so it's used to derate the throttle. So when you spool up the engines for takeoff, you should never run your throttle at 100%. All that does is overpower the engines and potentially lead things to well, it just damages the engines, and so we increase our descent rate to about 500 feet per minute, which we're relatively low at the moment, and so we've about 80 miles to go. Descended a little bit too early here, so yeah, we'll hold it about here, and so what we do is derate the throttle, bring it back for a maximum throttle, and therefore just slow your descent rates. Or slow your engine throttle, sorry. My explanation tonight's going to be terrible, I do apologise. Whilst we're on the skyline, the buildings are very low quality. Again, just to say the least. Yeah, so 320 performance calculator is a good way of calculating it. While built for the A320 CEOs and also built for the FS Labs 320, it's a very good bit of kit to explain. Flying today the A320neo, landing in approximately 15-20 minutes. Should be no more than that though. Glad it's helped, Dennis. Glad it's helped. It's much appreciated. The more people it's helped, the more people, I guess, are enjoying the flight sim now. So that was my aim. Help people out, help them enjoy the platform more. Whereas Wellington is on the southern coast of the New Zealand North Island. Steam version and Microsoft version have no difference, so it doesn't matter which store you buy it from, the content's exactly the same. Note, you can't fly the A380, it's not available in the sim, although to be fair, Scott, I am very much considering removing you from the channel because, well, your constant lies about being a Bay Clue line driver and now calling yourself a pilot, it's not gone down well with people, that's for sure. Any upcoming aircraft, so these designs have announced Concorde, PMDG, set to release their 737 Course 1 2021. Milviz, set to release the 737-200 soon. Carinolo, setting a plethora of GA aircrafts. There's an F-14 and F-18 on the way. There's a lot of aircraft on the way. I can't remember all the developers and their release dates, but there is a lot coming. So many people say the default A320 is not flyable, but you see Drawyah flying so nicely. I mean, it's not perfect, but it takes a lot of practice. Tell you what, because we're so low right now, we're going to be, well, we're going to, actually no, I'm not going to do that, because, well, the terrain around Wellington, yeah, what I was going to do was going to skip all of this, but I'm not sure, are we flying over the water side, or are we flying over the hilly side? If we're flying over the hilly sides, then perhaps we don't want to skip the waypoints. Majestic, yeah, sorry, Majestic supporting their Q400 onto Microsoft Flight Sim. I'll do a flight sim stream tomorrow, and train sim's always a premiere. So I'm going to do Microsoft Dovetail Games Train Sim World for the next couple of days until I finish all the scenarios, basically, of the new 2 routes that came out, and then afterwards we'll go back to standard. Yeah, tell you what, we'll go to heading select mode, and I'll fly direct now towards where the glide slope is. We descended a little bit too early today, so yeah, we'll use this as an opportunity just to come in a bit early, come in a bit quicker, and potentially save a few minutes on the landing. We'll turn on the landing ILS information on. Sure thing. There's delivery. Run down the autopilot panel. I mean, autopilot is easy enough to explain. You got your speed, which you can scroll and set. You push to go to manage mode. You pull to go to manual mode, and same for all the other knobs. Here you've got your heading selector. Push for the LNAV, pull for manual. Altitude, again, push for VNAV, pull for manual, and then vertical speed, you can either leave it basically or pull it if you're selecting manual selection. Autopilot 1, Autopilot 2 sets your captain side, co-pilot side, your auto throttle, your localizer, which is like your LNAV for approach, so it takes you onto a flight path towards the runway. Your approach mode is like your VNAV for approach, and therefore controls your altitude down the glide slope. Expedite mode, ooh look, it's turned off, and you can actually click on the button. That's new, it wasn't like that before. And otherwise, yeah, it's a relatively straightforward processing this. Different camera views, so you can use the end key to go between cockpit and third-person camera. You can use the insert key to go between cockpit and drone cam. And then you can use both the insert and home key to toggle between the external camera, drone cam, and showcase camera. Which in this case I have set to window view, so by default it's the tail camera. But if you go down to 12, 13 and 20 Neo, it shows you your windows. So that's how you access window views. Turn terrain radar on. That's a very good shout about that, because, well, if I want to know what the hills are like on the approach, that would be the best way to know. About 60 miles left to go. Standard 1660. This is a standard 1660. Hounds Live. Yes, we are on Twitch. Hounds Live at Wellington. We land in approximately. Again, we've descended slightly earlier there, so a rough estimate at landing time approximately 10-15 minutes. Go to Turkmenistan. I mean, honest question, is there anywhere in particular in Turkmenistan worth flying to? What's the capital of the country? And what's the city airport available? I mean, I'm sure Turkmenistan is quite a nice country, but it's not somewhere I personally know, well, anything about really. At some point I will fly to the Arab countries. I mean, definitely there's a lot to look at in that area. But just a case of actually finding the routes and time to do it all. I also plan to redo at some point my London to Dubai flights, because well, the first one was just laggy and horrible. And so I want to do it again, I want to do it properly. 747 land tutorial will come, it's just a case of doing it properly. I've already said ETA aviator Josh. Let's have a look at the radio. So it should be 161010.3, course 183 degrees. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So now just waiting for the aircraft to be established with the localizer. And as soon as that's the case, we can then start the final stages of descent. That's passed through 6,000 at our 200 feet per minute descent rates. The 1050 Ti can handle it, just overclock. Overclock your system, and you should be able to run it without too many problems. Not sure on a Flight 787 again. The only problem I have with it is that it's by far the laggiest aircraft in the simulator. And so until they can optimise it, streamline the frame rate a bit, then I'll pre-fly it again. Yeah, like I say, my descent rate was a little bit off there. I've gone and pretty much ignored my own advice on when to descend. Instead of doing it from 80 miles, I did it from 120 miles, so, yeah. You live and you learn, and in my case, you ignore your own advice, and, end up doing this, flying at 6,000 feet at 250 knots, and eventually bring the aircraft into land. But hey look, ignore my mistakes. Look at the pretty skies, look at the pretty clouds. Yeah, we definitely need some optimization, but for the most part, we're running at solid 30, and the sim is running stable. It's just when I introduce third-party stuff like IVAO and FHUIPC, then things start to slow down, and my guess, it's CPU based. My CPU is my bottleneck, and so I need to upgrade that as soon as I possibly can. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Dan's running on a relatively medium spec system. He's running on medium settings. I bet you it still looks great as well. I mean, you don't need a super fancy computer to run this sim. It looks good. It definitely looks good. And it feels alright as well. It's a more than capable flight sim. Yes, FS Economy is out, but it's not a platform I use, to be honest, so... I don't know, I was always an FS Passengers lad. FS Passengers was the king of flight sim passenger simulation. I now use PAX. PAX is quite nice. The T16000M is a very good HOTAS. If you can get yourself one of those for cheap, definitely worth it. My brother has one, and he's loving it. I've used it a few times as well. It's a good bit of stick. I use the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog, which is a very expensive bit of kit, but worth every penny. I picked mine up for £270, which is very cheap, considering that it normally goes for about £450, so just under half price. Sorry, just over half price I picked mine up for. And, well, while it was a bit above my price range, there was no way I was going to say no to that, so bought it, picked it up, and absolutely in love. Yes, IVAO does hit your performance. Well, actually, the main platform IVAO doesn't, but for some reason, the IVAO pilot's core has caused lag for me, and so it's again one of those things that I need to tweak and figure out for eventually going back to it. My system's not perfect, and there are a few things that cause slowdown, and so fixing those issues will work. They can't port their planes. 737. I mean, the 737 belongs to Boeing, and whoever Boeing gives the license for can then use the product in sim, or use an unlicensed version, basically just remove the Boeing name and Boeing branding. Could also someone explain to me what the Microsoft Flight Simulator Extended Edition is? I've heard a few things about an Extended Edition of Microsoft Flight Sim, but I have no idea as to what that is. If someone knows what it is and could explain it to me, that would be much appreciated. There is a ship simulator coming out, and I must say thank you to Delta Who of FlyJ Sim, who explained that to me. And so there's actually a new sim coming out called Nautis. It's by the same people as Ship Simulator and Ship Simulator Extreme, so V-Step are coming back into the boat sim world. And, well, they're about to, well, not about to release Nautis, but eventually they will be releasing Nautis for the home computer. And so I'm very excited for that when it does come out. How long's for landing? Not long. We're at 5,000 feet, the airport's 30 miles away, and so soon we'll be on our final descents. Has Bayern scored? Okay, that could be an interesting one. Actually, I say interesting, I mean, Bayern is set to win this regardless. They've been having a fantastic Champions League, and PSG, while a good team, they're not Champions League winners, and so, yeah, they're not going to make it. And 60 minutes too, it's a good time to score. I'm not a real pilot, it's just a hobby for me. You love the feeling when it responds. No worries, Emma. Have you got live weather? No. So it's not live weather. The live weather servers right now are currently offline, presumably down to maintenance, and so we'll just fly with one of the presets that are similar to what they've got right now, very realistic. Not long to landing now. Here we go. We can now use the LNAV if you wanted to. No, not yet. We're too far away, but we are established. We're 25 miles away. So in a couple of minutes, we'll now start the landing. Thrustmaster Warthog HOTAS. Favourite helicopter? Probably the CH-17 Chinook. Not my only flights. You guys have convinced me to do a turnaround, so we'll land at Wellington, and then we'll prepare a second flight, this time to Christchurch. And so I'll set that up on SimBrief. I'll even do it on screen as well so I can show you the full process. And yeah, prepare the aircraft for a second flight. The Warthog is discontinued, but there are still quite a few of them left. My username is Drawyah. Yeah, Wolf, not a bad heli that. Yeah, not a bad helo. I got this game on my gaming PC. You're gonna have to be a little more specific than gaming PC. I mean, I could consider my system a gaming PC. There are a lot of people that, well, wouldn't. FPS on the ground, still at 30. Running at 30 on the ground, 30 in the air. You know you need to get over a desk when everything's falling on you the moment you start touching things. Right, let's now start preparing the aircraft for the final stages of approach. To be fair, despite my username having draw in it, I don't actually do any drawing whatsoever. My channel name is basically my surname flipped back to front. There goes. No fancy backstory to it, nothing major, it's just my name. Right, let's bring the aircraft to the right. Let's bring it towards an intercept for the glide slope. Let's set our first stage of flaps. So steady airplane down to 220, we'll set the first stage of flaps. And finally, we can now think about bringing the aircraft into land. And note to self, Drawyah, when you do fly to Christchurch, try not to descend too early. No, there's no top descent marker, you're doing this still manually. Flaps 1. Kind of the most live views on YouTube. Ah, nice one. Thanks for that, McDady. Thank you for the stats. We need to be at, what's it, 2,630 feet. So 2,000 feet in 10 miles. We'll go back to about 2,000 feet per minute. Descent rates. Should go 1,500. Slow plane down before we go too fast. Down to 180 knots. Best FS streamer. I mean, I can name a bunch of people who are much better than me, but thanks for that. Nope, no overspeeding. We are managing this properly today. On the next leg, any chance could call out or you. What do you mean by that? Not quite sure what you mean there. Likewise, where is this magenta diamond? We should be seeing it soon. If not, we're hand flying this. I mean, the runway is right there, so you know what? Autopilot off. Sound 3. Gear down. 2,500. Lap sound 4. Check my approach 2 seconds. I've not set this up, it's a VREF of 145, so we'll do it like that. Yeah, I've gone and basically... Remember this entire tutorial about how to land an aeroplane? Well, this all happens if you ignore all of this and decide to start landing an aeroplane with no planning whatsoever. And pretty much hope for the best. Spoilers, arms, flaps down 4. We'll use medium braking since the runway is quite short. Let's bring the airplane into land. This is why you do prior planning before a landing and not descend too early and leave you, yeah, sorry, still standard altimeter. We'll set that back to 10102. Right, let's do this. I'll tell you my second leg will certainly be a little bit better. Oh yeah, joystick does move in the sim. It is all fully there. 1,000. Very short flight now for Wellington. Not long to go now. Here we go.
400. 300. 200. 100.
Committed.
60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard.
Idle throttle. Bring it back to the centre line. Reverse thrust sets. Not bad considering there was a slight crosswind in that. 60 knots. Let's bring it now to the next exit point, which is just there in front of us. Well, I mean, it was a good touchdown, but a pathetic approach on my part. Come on, Drawyah, you know you can do better than that. I mean, your last video was a landing tutorial in this exact blimming plane, and so to go and do that in front of everyone, it's probably embarrassing more than anything. Right, we'll take the aircraft to a stand, we'll do a turnaround, and we'll start programming everything for the flights to Christchurch. Wraps up. Turn on the APU, anti-icing off. Yes, same on YouTube as it is on Twitch. Joke's on you, I have no idea which airport Whiskey Golf Tango November is, so therefore I can have no idea what airport you're referring to there. Oh yes, and also, landing lights off, taxi lights on. We'll put us left here, we'll use the jet bridge, we'll program the flights now for Christchurch. Do an Innsbruck localizer, potentially at some point we can do. When will replay each be added? Soon. Replay added soon. No exact confirmation dates yet, but it is on the way. Parking brake sets. That'll do. Into the cockpit. AP bleed running. Engines off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wellington. So, now on the APU power. We'll see what ground safes are available here, although presuming that we're not really at a gate, we'll see what we can do. We can request a jet bridge and hope that it comes. Yeah, can't test jet bridge. Okay, so we'll just do this one from here. Oh look, someone's taken off now. Very nice. Right, so let's pop open the sim brief. And let's start programming our flights now to Christchurch. I'll try this onto the screen. And hopefully you guys can now see this. So, let's register. Well, no register. I'll go to the dispatch system, create a new flight plan. And let us also open that as well. Right, airline. We are November Zulu. Flight's number shall be it's an ATR 72. Do you even fly A320s on this route? Oh, there we go, perfect. So we're November Zulu 347. Flying from this ICO code is can someone also get me the ICO code for Christchurch? If someone could get that and put it on the screen, that'd be much appreciated. Someone say it in chats. This one is November Zulu Whiskey November. And our arrival airport is... Oh look, another plane's just taken off. Quite a few departures at the moment. Okay, we'll do it myself then. So, Christchurch Airport ICO. Christchurch is November Zulu Charlie Hotel. Ah, sorry about that. Yeah, should put that in that chat. So, Zulu Charlie Hotel. Departure 2100 Zulu. So, that about 30 minutes is fine. Airframe is an Airbus A320. Tail code is that. Call sign is, go back to Wikipedia, so that's going to be that one. New Zealand 347. Time route 1 hour and 10 minutes, that's fine. That all looks fine. Our departure runway is going to be the one we landed on, which was 16. Yes, please. And arrival runway 02 as it stands. We grab the airport layout here. Well, how long is the runway? 02 is 3,000 meters long. 10. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, 02 for landing. Right, in terms of waypoints. Ah, right, sorry, no, because we set runway 16. So, do that again quickly. That's our routing. So, depart at Wellington, head south. And so you should do a 180-degree turn over to sea and come into land. That is fine. Okay, so we're happy with that. We'll generate the flight plan. How do I? I'm 21 years old. And then let me download the flight plan. So this here is a bit I care about. We download this. I can now close Firefox and open it now in Edge. I like using Edge when I'm using Flight Sim just because it's so CPU light and therefore takes nothing. Firefox is good, but when we have too many tabs open, it can start to take CPU. Edge is plain and vanilla. Why 21 years old? Because I was born in 1999. There you go. That's our flight plan. In fact, let me send you the link as well. So if you guys want to follow along, if you want to follow along, this here is our flight plan. Right, let's head to the FMS. Let's start program. Also, can we call a fuel truck? We're just doing a menu. Make it easy for ourselves. I've also done this in kilos, haven't I? So let me convert this from kilos to pounds. $11,360. So go to the fuel. We'll fill up to $11,360. Heads to the initialization, and let's program our new routes. So, departure airport is November Zulu Whiskey November, and our arrival airport is November Zulu Charlie Hotel. Plug that in. Our flight number is November Zulu 347. Now, context says 5. Our cruising altitude is only 24,000 this time. Level 240, so it's very low cruise that. Next page, our zero fuel weight is 50.2 again, and our centre of gravity is going to be... what are you saying centre of gravity? So 21.3. I've had no time to go to main menu, never leave it the same. Block fuel, that's going to be at 5.3, so 5.4 this time. Now let's go to flight plan, and let's plug in our routes. Not departure, sorry. I'll just go to airways. First route will be via Sabda. And the truth is real waypoints. Yes, thank you, Sabda. Over to Messex. And that's via the Yankee 622. So if I go over to my flight plan quickly and just show you that on screen. We depart to Sabda, which is this point here. We fly Yankee 622 to Messex. So that is our flight plan complete. Head over to flight plan, go to our departure. Whoops, our departure I said. Alright, insert that. Perfect, so it's departure, runway 16. We need a tax up departure. This says 2 Quebec, but 5 Quebec is exactly the same. We'll use it. Via Komodo, we can use Komodo. Sabda. We're going to use Sabda. Insert that. So, quick check our flight plan. If we go over to plan mode, as you can see there's a few dots on screen. There's going to be real aircraft right now flying around us. So that is part of the TCAS system on the airplane. Yeah, that's perfect. So depart, head south, and straight into land. And then the arrival should be via a Me-6 arrival. Does it even have stars? 02. Via Me-6. LM. Me-6, 6 Alpha. Yeah, that's perfect. So we'll erase that for now. We'll do the arrival when we descend. But as it stands, our FMS is now complete. Performance. This time we won't forget the performance page. Ooh. Will it allow takeoff? Oh yeah, it should do. Perfect. So flaps 1 takeoff, 0. Flex temp will be... let's go for the calculator again. Right, let's go for the A320 calculator. So, flying an A320, find the CFMs, we're using metric. Airport is NZWN. Get the METAR information right now. Flaps 1, packs are on. Dry runway, sorry, no anti-icing, dry runway. And our departure runway is 16. That's fine, that's all fine. Calculate that. Our flex temp is 66. Welcome everyone to the stream. Just joining now. Okay, from a turnaround, and in a couple of minutes we'll be taking off to Christchurch. Nope, I'm not a real pilot. I've just got a very good understanding of how the systems work. Right, I'm happy with that. Get the local METAR information again just here, confirm everything we need. So it's currently QNH 993. A bit low that, but again we are on the water, so that's fine. So 993, cruising at 26,000. 24,000. Speed will set to 250. And heading, we'll leave that on managed mode. We're on the APU, which is fine. And so, let us now... Oh, we never turned off the taxi lights. Just realised that. Whoops. Have we also left the beacons on? Yes, yes you have. Okay, that's fine then. We'll call the pushback tug. We'll now get ourselves ready to depart. So, here comes the pushback tug. How do you know how high to fly? So if I go to the sim brief plan quickly, it tells you it's right here. So flight plan steps, Wellington, 240, and that's your cruise. Depending on how long the flight is, you may have different altitudes and therefore different steps, but since it's short flights, you just have the single number here of flight level 240, flight 24,000 feet. Pushback tug now connecting. We'll ask the aircraft to steer to the right pretty much instantly. It's going to be a very short pushback this. Pushback to the right. Parking brake off. Engine ignition mode. Engine 1 starts. End hour pushback, parking brake set. I'll turn off the landing indicators as well, so you don't need that. Engine 1 slowly coming to life now. How did that take us? It took us... Did it take us... How long were we in the ground for? There's the PTU. And that's us up engine number 2. We touched down 15 minutes ago. So that right there was a 15-minute turnaround. Actually, by the time I got to gate, there's about a 10-minute turnaround. So, yeah, very, very quick that. No chance for arrest. In fact, this is the longest rest we've had in live lights. The engine startup. Back light's already on. We should probably turn that off, but hey. You can hear the PTU. It is there, don't you worry. Both engines have started and are stable. Ignition off. Speed brakes armed. APU off. Taxi lights already active. Beacon lights already active. That's all active. Lower the flaps down to first setting. This time we have set performance, and therefore we will be using flex for takeoff. Parking brake off, and let's taxi to the runway. What are you playing at? Okay, well it's me or you. Unfortunately, it's going to have to be me. Push to the left. We'll go around him. There we go, fits snugly underneath the wing there. Right, push to the right, let's taxi to the end of the runway. airplanes with right of way. Not in Microsoft Flight Sim. To be fair, there was an incident like that a couple of, I feel like a year or two ago at Gibraltar. There was a couple of RAF officers on an aeroplane that was set to fly back to the UK. However, in order to stop the aircraft from taking off, a couple of police cars actually pulled onto the runway and actually parked on the runway, stopped the takeoff, and arrested the people they were looking for. It's an interesting case, that. Very, very crazy. Right. Well, all clear between us and the runway. There's no aircraft on the ground about to depart. I don't see anyone approaching. We'll check what the other side of the runway looks like as well. But, yeah, it should be a pretty simple takeoff today. We're not flying to Auckland, we're now flying to Christchurch. Now flying a second leg, flying to the South Island. Yes, only with live traffic today. I want to use IVAO, but I'm just waiting now for the, well, for it to be less laggy on my system. Thank you, Care, for the sponsorship, much appreciated. Man, these ground vehicles, they're really going to, I know. This guy's smart. This guy decides to cut across the taxiway, and therefore not impeding my path. Driving. I mean, I am taxiing at the moment. Flaps 1 for takeoff. Flaps 1. No. Not today. I'm not using live traffic, we're using live traffic, not multiplayer traffic. We've just pre-ordered the Warthog for 400. Wow, fair play, Lord Necton. I mean, it's a fantastic stick. I paid 270 for mine. 270. So, yeah. It's not a cheap bit of kit. There are deals out there for it, but they are very rare and very far between. Yeah, get about 297 about a month ago. The prices have gone up since, well, Microsoft Flight Sim has brought a resurgence back into flight simulation, and therefore everyone's now going to, want to buy it again. So supply and demand, there's now a lot of demand. They have to restart their supply chain, which costs a bit of money to get it back. And then, yeah. Expect peripherals and flights and stuff to be expensive for a couple of months while the aircraft, while simulation starts to calm down a little bit. But this platform really is amazing for what it is. $1,300. Wow, this thing's going crazy. I'll hold short the runway. We'll do a quick visual check to see if anyone's on approach will come in to land from the other side. I'm not ignoring the skyline, I just don't get to see all the chats. Want to do a multiplayer, me and you? No. There you go, that's your answer. No. Right, runway is clear. Nobody's on approach. You can see the wing flex slightly because of the wind. Wind and engine taking effect into that. Landing lights on. Taxi light set to take off. Let's get going. And again, we have set performance. Oh yes, also set the brakes to max in the case of rejected takeoff. And spoilers are armed. Right, let's do this. Warthog, it's the A10 Warthog. It's a designation of aeroplane used by the US military. And so, for us to have a replica flight stick for it. It's full metal, feels very good, and it's a very popular bit of kit. Right. Engine's up 40%. 1 and 2 are stable. Let's get going. Okay, interesting. So, there is no flex, but only because presumably we've already used it once in this flight, so can't use takeoff. Oh no, it looks like it is working, but Just not showing me the same stats. Rotates. If it works, it works. Gear up. Throttle back to climb, or speed. Perhaps turnarounds in this aircraft. Not quite there yet, but as long as it works, it'll work. We're not overspeeding, we should be alright. Right, so set speeds to 250. Autopilot active, that's set, and we'll climb at 3,500 feet per minute. Perfect. So the sun is still slowly rising over New Zealand right now. Gosh, what is it doing right now? Apart from not flying the aeroplane as I want it. Right, let's try again. So 24,000. Autopilot active. And climbing 2,000. Right, now it's doing that properly. So climb to 3,500 feet per minute. That's fine. Throttle up. Auto throttle active. Speed. Select the sets. Right, there we go. That should do it. Not using manage. We're using vertical speed because VNAV does not work. So if you watch my takeoff tutorial, actually I don't really explain that one, but basically VNAV in Microsoft Flight Sim isn't yet functional in these aircraft, and therefore we are just going to use vertical takeoff speed and do it all manually instead. Alright, for flightsim.com. Flightsim.com, I do articles for. So, massive thank you to those guys who have managed to, well, help me out a lot recently with Microsoft Flight Sim. You know, they actually get me the copy, helping me with the promotion side of things, and, yeah, it's rather good. So, altimeter now to standard. Flight duration is 55 minutes, so it's a slightly shorter flight than the first one. Flight duration 55 minutes. Yes, so it matches time zone, and so right now it is... see if I can get the clocks out show properly. Not particularly. Okay, we'll show the menu, so... not that one, that one. So live time right now, which is 20:08 UTC, so standard universal coordinated time, and local time is 8 minutes past 8 in the morning. So that's the current time right now. Not live weather, because the servers right now are currently not working, but the closest weather right now is current is right now scattered. Therefore we're following that. Okay, it's a little bit off right now, but 21:53 is going to be 8:53. Yeah, 8:53 is like low time right now. So that there, exact. Pass through 10,000, then that's off. And retracted. Yeah, 8:53. So this is exact time with close enough weather because the live weather servers right now are inactive for maintenance. We're doing an approach with the autopilot, the ILS. But the actual landing touchdown will be done manually, yes. Yeah, Bayern has won Champions League. Bayern are always going to win it. PSG are good, but they're not Champions League winners. Bayern Munich are proven winners, and they've got a fantastic team. Crash and donate 500. I wish, Skyline. I wish. How do you switch on autopilot? I mean, do people need a tutorial on autopilot? It's a basic system, but I guess not everyone's at the same level of advances when it comes to flight sims, so if you need a tutorial on that, then I can add it to the list of what I need to do. We have long break in Christchurch, but we'll go... before flying back to London. I'm not sure when I'll do a long-haul flight next, but perhaps in the week I'll do it at some point. Trim. So, trim controls the angle of the rear wings. What I'm now going to do is super dangerous, and you should never, ever try this on an aeroplane. So, watch the rear wings. What I'm going to do now is slowly adjust trim and push them all the way down. So, as you can see, it changes the angle of the wings. I'll go the other way. And what it does is it changes the angle of the rear wings. And as you can see, it controls the pitch of the aircraft. And as for stable flying, based on your current altitude, based on current speed, and so adjust the pitch of the rear wings to allow for different angles of attack. Basically. Turn the anti-icing. Good shout. I keep forgetting to do that. Previous flight sims did not do anti-icing, or did not do icing properly. With Microsoft Flight Simulator, yeah. Previous sims did zero icing at all. Microsoft Flight Simulator compensates for this and puts every single flight sim anti-icing ever into one go. And so the moment you hit through clouds, you've turned into a flying popsicle. It's crazy. Can't wait for this guy to be my pilot and do commentary your whole flights. I mean, I'm not a pilot in real life, and therefore that's never going to happen. But at some point, I do want to get back into flying again, and eventually carry on towards my PPLM. How hard will be landing without two engines? Depends how far I can glide. MCDO is not fully functional, but it's mostly there. It's mostly there. Right, go up to our cruising altitude now for flight level 240. Airport's 120 miles away, although we'll wait until about 60 miles until we start our descent. So it's a low cruise, and therefore we don't need to send for a couple of minutes. Could I fly one in real life? Probably not. I do marketing as a company. Why put anti-icing over 10,000? Basically, if you fly through a cloud and it's freezing altitude outside, the moisture in the cloud will freeze your aeroplane, and well, just go have a look at my 747 stream from Bangkok to Japan. Basically, that's why you should turn your anti-icing on. Let's program our approach now. So, flight plan, Christchurch, runway, (02) via the Me6. Seven Alpha should do it. No vias. Let's go to plan mode. Zoom in. Go step by step. So steps. Ooh, okay. Oh no. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So insert that. It makes sense to me, but it looks like the actual FMS is slightly confused as to what's going on right now. That is interesting. Essentially what we're going to do is fly down this pathway, make a right hand turn, and then at Albad we'll be on the intercept and come into land. This is just a bit much. Have a look. That's arrival. IS-2 via No Star. What does that do for the arrival? Just those waypoints there that I need to try and banish from my flights. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when we get there. Alright, I'm from the UK. How do you not to press? I mean, I've done a tutorial on the A320 landing, and so if you go watch that tutorial, you can kind of follow along what I'm doing. And again, it's one of those things where I can teach you the basics, but it really comes down to you guys practicing. I mean, this is 15 years of practice right now, and so the more you practice, the better you will get at things. Just joined ETA in approximately 20 minutes at the moment. 20 minutes to landing. Why does it cost so much? I mean, it's a platform. It's supposed to last us 10 years. Both Microsoft and Asobo have committed 10 years to Microsoft Flight Sim, and therefore you pay however much and you keep it for 10 years, and either they'll extend life afterwards or probably release Microsoft Flight Sim 2030. Yes, British. I'm from London. 100 subs per hour, I wish. I mean, in last... Actually, you say that. 100 subs per hour. I have hit 1,000 subs in the last 2 days, so... It has been crazy. Where'd you get your takeoff performance? I use the A320 calculator. If you go to my A320 takeoff tutorial, I've got a link to it in there. But there's a calculator you should use to calculate your takeoff performance in the 320. Does trim need to be changed? In the A320, trim is automatic. On the 74 and 787, you'll need to trim the aircraft manually. But in the A320, it's automatic. Do I drink tea? Of course I do. It's the most British thing you can do. Read your comment. I'm afraid your comment's super far up, Eduardo, and so I probably can't see it. The top version was the SR22 and 787. I haven't actually flown the SR22 yet. I am meaning to do it, but I haven't done it yet. No, well, there is A330s, but only as the AI. You can't fly the A330 yourself, I'm afraid, Doom. They're just AI at the moment. Try not to mispronounce your name, although it's very tricky. No, I'm not going to attempt that. Tutorials on YouTube. Why subscribers not recognised on YouTube? What do you mean by that, Dangerous? Why subscribers not recognised on YouTube? Let's have a look at the arrival. So, runway 02 ILS, 109.9, course heading 40 degrees. Can you do a flirt with cabin crews? You can't go to cabin crews, I'm afraid. The video was uploaded last week, so you have to go back like 2 or 3 days, but they are all there. That's, where is it? There. This here is the A320 landing tutorial. So we're at 23,000 right now, and therefore we have 2 options. Descend later, or do a shallow descent now. Is that compatible? Yes it is, but I use IVAO myself. Oh yeah, in the Air New Zealand colours, the aircraft is painted entirely in black. It's not the most efficient colour for flying. But hey, let the All Blacks be All Blacks. In fact, the Air New Zealand livery used to be white from about here, but back during the Rugby World Cup when they did sponsorship with the New Zealand All Blacks, that's when they actually painted the entire aircraft black, and therefore as its current livery. There's a safety video on the Air New Zealand YouTube channel which goes into a bit more detail around it. But yeah, this is a nice enough livery. I like it. Oh no, so when people on YouTube subscribe, it's just an subscription. When people on Twitch subscribe, that's because they're paying real money to do so, and therefore, because they're paying, they get recognition, while a YouTube subscriber is just a normal subscriber. So I do thank people for subscribing, but if, for example, you were to join on YouTube and become a member, then you'll get the pop-up. But not for standard subscribers, no, I'm afraid. The oscillating movement is a known bug. The Asobo are working to mitigate it. South Africa, I do plan to fly South Africa at some points. I'm mainly waiting for the 737 for it, as well. With the 738, I've then got the plethora of Comair flights to fly through. Yeah, so a Twitch follower equals YouTube subscriber, while a Twitch subscribe equals a YouTube membership. Do flights make you plain flush? Yeah, it's all down to the... To be fair, when I was younger, the toilet flushing in these aircraft always scared me. But nowadays I just notice how the pressure system works, and it just shoots down into the drum below. The 737 will come for $139.99. $139.99, or if you bought the PMDG 737 NGXU in 2019, so before December 31st, then you only pay $40 when it releases. As you paid $99.99 for the NGXU, and so you get $99.99 off the main product when it comes out. But yes, the full price for the PMDG 737 will be $139.99. Right, let's, is it possible to crack the A320? I'm afraid, user, I'm now going to have to block you from the channel, because if there's one thing I have, it's a zero tolerance on piracy on this channel, so goodbye. Right, let's have a look at our approach now. So we need to be at 2,000 for the intercepts. NGXU comes out Q1 2021. Welcome, Pierre, how are you? We'll go 1,500 feet per minute initially, down to 250. Hounds for landing, around 20 minutes. No, there's no indication on the ND, as VNAV is not yet functional, and therefore, in my case, it's basically just a guess, basically. But if you watch my landing tutorial, I do explain the basics on how to land. So if you descend at 2,000 feet per minute at 250 knots, you'll lose 30,000 feet in 80 nautical miles. And so that's the rule of thumb for descending, although you do need to do that all manually, and therefore it's just a case of setting it all up early enough to prepare for touchdown. It's better to be lower and to have a shallow descent rate later than to be too high and nosedive into the runway. FS 2020 is both CPU and GPU heavy. There is an MD-11 coming. TFDI Design have confirmed they are making an MD-11 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So yeah, don't you worry, one is coming. This is DirectX 11, I believe. No. I'm not sure. I believe there is one thing that there's like a new technology available that they haven't used, but I can't remember if it's DirectX or something else. No. No confirmed A350 add-ons at this stage. The 717 will not be coming to Microsoft Flight Sim in the near future. There's no plans to bring it across. Thank you, Big M. Glad you're enjoying the flights. First in trending, really. I quite like the 747 in the sim. The only downside to 747 is that the routes for it are ultra long haul, so there's not many routes I can do it with no real time to do it either. So I do plan to do more 74 flights soon, just in case of when. Same for 787, although 787's also got other problems, such as its heavy lagging. I'll wait for the 7 rate to be optimised first, then I'll fly that a bit more often. But for now, the A320s are rather fine, as is a couple of the other smaller prop jets and Cessna Citation private jets. I will do a Cessna flight at some point this week, just in case again of when I'll do it. Fuel on board, we have 3.9 tonnes on board. Passing through 19,000. Still about 40, yeah, so we'll go down to about 2,200 feet per minute. Yes, I'm from the UK. Also this time, let's set up an approach, shall we? So performance, next phase, next phase. Right, let's get the METAR information for NZCH. Right, QNH is 0,901. Temperature is 11 degrees centigrade. Ooh, something's gone fancy outside. Ah, cloud. Magnitude of wind is currently 250 at 4 knots. Transition altitude is 6,000. And decision height will be 2,000. 4 flap standing. That is good, fine. Berlin Brandenburg is in the sim. Istanbul New I haven't seen yet, to be honest. So I can't confirm. Yes, Bayern won Champions League. They were always going to win it. They were always going to win it. Like I say, PSG are a good team, but they're not Champions League winners. Nope, I do not use track IR. Decision height is the final altitude for you to be at, for you to have visual confirmation of the runway before committing an approach or filing a missed approach. So at 2,000, I need to have a visual confirmation of the runway or go around basically. Right now, I use OBS to stream or Bandicam to record. OBS to stream, Bandicam to record. Landing in 14 minutes. Yes, Track IR is compatible with Microsoft Flight Sim. Nope, I'm not a real-life pilot. I have got some experience in J aircraft and gliders, but I'm not an airline captain. I'm not a pilot license holder. Although I do plan to do an NPPL Type M and do a license in the future. Only a hobby license, not commercial, not as a career. Favourite plane, 737. Landing frequencies right now are 109.9, frequency, course 40 degrees. Right, welcome to New Zealand's South Island. Just about to pass through 10,000. Slow down to 220 knots, ready for the first stage of flaps. Landing lights on. Let's also decrease our descent rate now slightly to 1,800. Spoilers to slow the aircraft below 250 knots. And this will set our altimeter now to local, since, well, it's a bit of a drop now, so 8,900. Turn on the ILS information. In this case, we have got the magenta diamond, and so this time the approach should be a little more stable. Cheers, Harsh. Thank you for the Instagram follow. So I'll make a tutorial how to land the airplane perfectly. I mean, I've done one for the A320, but to be fair, how to land an airplane is not something you can watch a tutorial on, but practice. Practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the more you try it, the better things will become. Do I use a Surface Book 3? No, I absolutely not. I use a desktop computer. It's custom built to my flight simming specific needs. Oops, wrong way. We'll go down to 1,000 feet per minute. We're at 6 hours right now. I'll have to fly the approach in before coming to land, so we've got a little bit of travel left to go. 787 sure will come soon. The problem is the autopilot in that aircraft is a little bit buggy for the approach, and so I'm going to try something a little bit different in order to get it to work properly. You'll be able to see your house on this trip, eh? Well, give us a shout when you see it, and we'll come to your address tomorrow. 3 dots in the middle of the window. Ah, right, so that there, those are alignment balls, and basically, whenever you're sitting in your seat in the cockpit, your viewpoint needs to be in a specific position in order to actually be, well, legal. So, actually, we're fitting a bit too far backwards. Right here is perfect. So the red ball, so the white ball is behind the red ball, and therefore that's aligned. Go to co-pilot side, the red ball is, so the white ball is behind the red ball, and so if I push forward slightly until the white ball is no longer visible, now I'm sitting in the perfect position so I can see my controls and see over the window. So that is used just to adjust your seats in the A320, so you have perfect view of the window, perfect view of the displays. First stage of flaps. LS button is the landing displayed, and so that introduces the vertical and lateral navigation for the glide slope and the localizer. And so as you get closer to the approach, we'll then be able to switch on both of the approach modes. Only recently subbed to the channel. Keep happy you did. Keep flying. Much appreciated. 8-Sil. Much appreciated. Yes, practice makes perfect. Your first few landings will be pathetic, but the more you do it, the better things get. Air New Zealand livery comes as part of a tutorial, so yeah, check out my channel. There's a tutorial on how to do liveries. You can then see how to do it. No Dinios, late for Champions League final, that's fine. Bayern Munich 1, PSG 0. Again, we're a little bit on the low side, but not as bad as last time, since we're actually quite close to the airport. Go back to about 100 feet per minute descent rates. And start soon preparing for the second stage of flaps. High settings, we're on high settings. Yes, Air New Zealand aircraft are more prone to heat because they are painted all in black. But it is a reference to their rugby team, the New Zealand All Blacks. Actually came as part of a sponsorship for the Rugby World Cup. Why don't I use VNav? Because it's broken. Transition altitude is different depending on country. So in America, transition altitude is 18,000. In the UK, transition altitude is at 6,000. In Europe, it ranges from 6,000 to 4,000. And so, depending on what country you're in, will determine what altitude is transition. Yes, you can fly with friends. ETA, 5 minutes. Replay function is working in the sim, but they are now working on their UI to make it more user-friendly, so Asobo have got it working, and are now just implementing it into the actual main sim for people to use. Shared cockpit, not yet, but shared cockpit is coming. Transition altitude, you can either use charts to reference or just Google it. Controls, I use the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog. I'm flying with live traffic, so I'm flying with real-world aeroplanes. Not flying to Auckland, we're now flying to Christchurch. Yes, so the simulator will read the real-world airplanes flying right now, and it shows in the sim. So if you want, when we land, someone remind me to show you the menu, and I'll show you the menu in terms of showing the real-world flights within the simulator, but someone remind me because I'll probably forget before we touch down. What happened to Wellington? We landed, turned around, and took off again. So we've done Wellington, this is now our second flight. Can do North Korea if people are that desperate for it. Hudson River landing. Perhaps not. Perhaps not. Yeah, the graphics really are amazing in this platform. I absolutely adore it. Ooh, here we go. We're bang on the glide slope right now. So, oh, this is interesting because normally... What am I going to do now? Because normally we get the localizer first. That comes later. Right, we're a bit too low right now. So actually, I'd rather be low and get to 2,000 first. As right now, it's the localizer I'm more interested in, not so much the altitude. I can slowly adjust it, so down to 500 again. We'll slow the airplane down, Gary's flaps setting 2. When we landing approximately 5 minutes. Second stage of flaps. Nope, I am not a real airline pilot. I just have an understanding of how it works. Why don't I use manage mode? Because it doesn't work. Speed and VNav is not yet functional on Microsoft Flight Sim. What settings makes the aircraft approach by itself? Nothing yet because it doesn't work. Any tutorials on how to get the wing views? It's easy. You go to the top, go to camera, go to showcase, and scroll to the bottom. It's the last two cameras in showcase camera. That's how you get wing views. 737, Q1, 2021. Very professional, good job, thank you very much. Outdoors. Kiteac would have been a nice challenge, but Kiteac is not in the simulator. Because airports are based on satellite imagery, well, Kiteac's now a national park, and therefore you can't fly there. So, yes. Don't ball this up. I don't plan to. I don't plan to. Nope, VNav is not working now that sim is launched. The A320 is indeed cat-free capable, but not the Microsoft Flight Sim version. At some point I will fly these yet, yes. How am I doing? Not too bad. You are high. I don't think so. I'm fairly sure that means we're too low at this stage. So we'll level off at 2000 and we'll fly down again. There is A380s, but only as AI. You can't fly them. Rather than there. Sean, how are you? I'll turn off the terrain radar since it is just all flat ground here. We'll turn on the localizer. Very shortly, we'll watch the magenta diamonds crawl down the screen before switching over to approach. Still got about just over 10 miles to go. Ooh, great. It's going to be fantastic visibility outside the window. I can barely see a thing of the window there. Well then. Well, wish me the best. I'll set the airplane down to our VREF, which is 145 for the approach. On the approach mode now, so 145, flap sound 4. Gear down.
2,500.
So at this stage, we're now flying down the glide slope. Somewhere in front of us is the runway. Oh, I hope it comes into view. Alright, well the runway is there. I can just about see some lights. But that glare is not doing me any favours right now. No, not yet. There's no 737 MAX yet in the sim. Yeah, that visibility is a bit naff. It's not even down to clouds, it's just because of the fact that the sun's in front of us right now. And so, yeah. Right, 5 miles to go. Runway's in sight. No, no it's not. I take it back. Oh boy, where is it? I genuinely have no idea where the airport is right now. We're coming down the glide path, so the aircraft knows where the airport is, but I have no visual confirmation at all with this runway right now. Right, brake set to medium, spoilers armed, landing lights are on, pre-landing checklist complete, gear down 3 greens. We've passed through 1000, so we've got our finger ready on the autopilot disconnect. As soon as we have a view of this runway, we'll take it in manually. Ah, runway's in sight, thank you, runway's in sight. Autopilot disconnects. Reverse thrust sets. $80 knots. 60 knots. Let's exit the runway, just to the right, sir. Well, welcome to Christchurch. That was an interesting approach, wasn't it? Here's the runway. APU starts. Turn off the anti-icing. Landing lights off. Taxi lights on. Flaps up. Now I have no idea where the gates are for us, but I'll presume only one terminal here, so I'll presume we'll just go somewhere in front of us and bring the aircraft in. That looks pretty full right now, so I'll go to one of these gates to the left over here, since there are a few jet bridges still available. Yes, you can meet someone in the game. If you both have multiplayer turned on, then you can see other pilots. I'm having such great luck with the ground crew today. We have to go around this follow me cart. We'll go park up next to the aeroplane right there. That'll be a nice little snug bit. Yeah. Oh no, a car. Go around it. Oh yeah, Microsoft Flight Sim's it's more than Grand Simulator. Managed speed does work. Managed speed does work sometimes on the SIDS and stars, but for cruising altitude and the majority of cruise, it doesn't. Unless you find the 787. The 787 actually does have a rather good VNAV, and it does work as it should. But the 74 and the A320, the VNAV is in need of a bit of work. Right, I'll pause the stand over here. And then we'll bring this one to an end. This is real world traffic. Yes, so I need to show you how it actually looks. So we'll do that as soon as you get to a stand. What is VNav? Vertical navigation. It controls your pitch, controls your speed, controls your altitude. How far from landing? 1,000 feet. When you pass through 1,000 feet, that's when you turn off the autopilot. We're going to have to actually stop slightly short of the stop marker there, because that jet bridge is in a very peculiar position for me. And stop. Parking brake set. AP bleed active. Engines off. Beacon lights off. Taxi lights off. External power is available, so we'll turn on the external power, turn off the APU. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Christchurch. Well, that wasn't a half-bad flight, that. Let us now connect to the jet bridge. That should connect to the aeroplane. Without too many problems, hopefully. Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. I love Microsoft Flight Simulator. It has its quirks. It's not perfect, but for what it is, it's a very beautiful simulator, this. And so, yeah, I think that'll be our final flight for today. Greetings from Finland. Hyvää yötä. Actually, it's more hyvää yötä. Hyvää yötä. I just need to remember it's for the Y sound. Have you bought Steam or Microsoft? This is the Microsoft version. Alright, jet bridge is in place. You can play as a controller, yes you can. Has it been official patch yet? No, but there is one coming very soon, which includes some hot fixes and a few tweaks here and there as well. So there are a few coming soon. Right, so that's us landed. We're at gates, all looking good. Now, you guys want to see the real world traffic, and so if you jump to the menu, let's go have a look, shall we? Yes, I have had a few experiences piloting. So I'm not a pilot myself, but I have flown a real aeroplane. So if we now jump into the menu and have a look at this real world traffic. Let's go find an aeroplane. There'll be a few of them in New Zealand since the early morning flights will now start. If not, we'll go to America since they are always in America. It does also take a second for them to load, so we'll have to see. Come on, America, don't let me down. Yeah, because there's just so much data to load, it does take a few seconds. If we give it a moment, it should all start to appear. But basically, all the AI traffic in the sim are based on real-world aircraft on real-world flying routes. And so it will model match them to the simulator, depending on what's available. If no model's available, then it'll use like an alternative. But for the most part, it does a fine job. So here we go. Right, United Airlines 741. It's a 763 flying at 7,000 feet, 281 knots. It's a bit faster than altitude. As you see, it's flying in from Newark to San Francisco. Right here, we have, I'm not sure who this airline is, but they're flying from Charlie Victor Golf. That is somewhere to LaGuardia. That's a CRJ-900s. Let's go over here, find an aeroplane. Okay, it's not too many aircraft flying at the moment. Then again, at the moment, there are really not that many airplanes flying, but as you can see, air traffic is based on real-world aircrafts, and they will populate the sky based on where they're going to. It's a nice system, that. It's just right now, I'm having no luck in actually finding anything. Cleveland. Charlie Victor Golf is Cleveland. Thank you for that, Russian name, even an attempt to pronounce, sorry. Yes, also, you can create a flight plan with this. So if I actually go back to the flight plan we did earlier, so that was from, not Auckland, we'll go from Wellington. Okay, NZW, Wellington, N. So that's our departure, and so that's an arrival of NZCH. We can create a flight plan, we'll create a high altitude airway. And what it does is it automatically selects you a series of waypoints, and so that's another way of actually creating the routes. The menu's really well in this sim. I do like it a lot. It's very, very well thought out. But yeah, I think that brings us to an end to today's stream. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you again for donating as well. For those who have donated today, you guys are all much appreciated. Sunday evening now, so I'm going back to work tomorrow morning. And yeah, we'll try and do some more daily streams, but I think next week will be my last week of daily streams. The week after, we'll go back to our Wednesday, Saturday and Sunday schedule. So one in the middle, and then one for four for the weekend. So we'll talk about it more in detail next week. But until then, you guys take care, have a good one, have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, or Monday, depending on where you live. I do marketing and database supports. And yeah, have a good night. Take care and goodbye.